If someone can force you into a 5-second fit of anger, they have effectively seized control of your behavior. Whoever dictates your emotional state ultimately dictates your actions and your immediate reality. Look at the disparity on this chart. That tiny sliver on the left is the 5 seconds it takes to fire off an impulsive text. The massive bar on the right represents the prolonged period of regret that often follows a single reactive moment. Consider a typical Friday afternoon. It's 4:55 p.m. and a colleague sends a passive-aggressive Slack message questioning your contributions to a project. You feel an immediate internal pressure to defend your reputation. There is a common, though often mistaken, assumption that a rapid-fire response is a sign of competence or strength. In this state, you aren't choosing your words, you are in reaction mode. This is a purely automatic state driven by a temporary emotional spike. Physiological changes happen almost instantly. Your heart rate climbs, and your knuckles turn white as your body braces for a conflict before your conscious mind has even finished reading the message. When you operate from this default setting, you become predictable. This makes it easy for external forces, or difficult people, to provoke and manipulate you. That 5-second burst of satisfaction from winning a quick argument comes at the direct expense of your personal autonomy and your control over the situation. Constantly defending yourself against every minor slight is a primary driver of mental exhaustion. Emotional regulation functions as a strategic form of energy preservation. It is a way to ensure your mental bandwidth isn't wasted on low-value interactions. Firing back at every perceived insult drains the cognitive resources you need for high-level problem-solving and creative work. Stepping away from a conflict allows you to audit your energy and choose a more effective time or method to address the underlying issue. Protecting your attention from these trivial disputes creates the mental space necessary to focus on goals that actually impact your career and personal growth. To decide when to speak, you can map your triggers onto this matrix. We're measuring the effort you expend against the actual impact that effort has on your reality. Think about being cut off in traffic. This is a high-emotion, high-effort event that has almost zero impact on your actual destination or safety once the moment passes. Contrast that with receiving critical feedback from a manager. This situation has a high impact on your career, but it requires the lowest possible emotional interference to handle correctly. Investing energy into the traffic quadrant yields a negative return. You end up mentally fatigued without changing a single thing about the world around you. Preserving your calm during a manager critique allows you to maintain a strategic position, helping you identify the actual problem and move toward a resolution. Silence in these high-stakes moments is often more effective than a defense. It forces the other person to sit with their own statements and negotiate with their own discomfort. Viewing emotional reactions through the lens of a financial investment provides a framework for protecting your daily focus from being drained by irrelevant conflicts. Shifting away from immediate retaliation requires a systematic loop. Identify the trigger, implement a 5-second pause, evaluate your state, and finally, formulate a strategic response. The first step is a non-negotiable pause. The moment a psychological trigger is tripped, you stop. You don't type and you don't speak. During this pause, you will likely feel a strong physical urge to defend your ego. Recognizing this discomfort is part of a process of regaining control. The second step is a biological audit using the HALT framework. You check to see if your reaction is being amplified because you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Physical factors like a lack of sleep or low blood sugar often masquerade as righteous indignation, pushing you into conflicts that aren't actually worth your time. Once you understand your physical state, you can choose a response based on logic and long-term goals rather than the initial biological spike. There is a misconception that being stoic means you never feel bothered or angry at all. Real mastery is continuing to feel the anger or the hurt, but choosing not to give others the satisfaction of seeing it dictate your behavior. To improve this skill, you need to conduct a nightly review. Identify exactly where you lost control and where you successfully held the pause. This consistent nightly analysis helps expose recurring patterns in your behavior, making it easier to identify and neutralize those specific triggers in the future. Even the best tactical frameworks will fail if your baseline mental and physical state is already near a breaking point. Establishing controls starts in the morning. Taking a few minutes of quiet focus before checking your phone helps set a proactive baseline. This requires a trade-off, giving up the instant stimulation of notifications to build a more stable foundation for the hours ahead. You also need to set clear boundaries. Accepting that you aren't required to justify every no helps reduce the number of triggers you encounter in a day. You are under no obligation to participate in every argument or defend yourself against every critic. Predefining these boundaries means you aren't forced to improvise your values in the middle of a high-stress situation. This framework is specifically designed for certain types of situations, but it isn't a universal solution for every personality type. If you are a professional operating in a high-stress environment, or if you find yourself constantly overthinking minor interactions, these tactics will help you reclaim your time. However, this should not be used as a way to avoid necessary healthy confrontation. Strategic silence is a tool for making better decisions. It is not a shield for passive-aggressive behavior or avoiding accountability. Controlling the gap between a stimulus and your response allows you to act with intent in environments where most people simply react. What is the one trigger that consistently gets a reaction out of you? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more tactical frameworks on self-control, and watch the next video to see how to apply this logic to high-stakes